Alright, here's the video review for Mastermind Creations Ocular Max PS-17R PROBUS REGENESIS. This is the REGENESIS, aka G2 repaint of PROBUS, their version of Brawl. This is the only one of the G2 Combaticons that I have, and I want to emphasize so far because it was the only one I intended to get. I just like G2 Brawl. I like a color scheme. It evokes that G2 Megatron tank. Just the green and purple on a tank. I don't know. I like it. Playing with them, I kind of want to get all the other G2 Combaticons. So all the other Regenesis, Combiner, Assaultus, all built-in figures. However you want to refer to them, I want them all. Will I get them all? I don't know. Today was an expensive day between the Headless Horseman drop from the Four Horsemen and Serpentor from Hasbro Pulse. PulseCon was this weekend. It's, I guess, early morning on Sunday, October 2nd at the time of shooting this. I don't usually give timestamps in my video reviews, but hey, there you go. Now you know when I'm shooting this. It'll probably go up on Monday, the 3rd. Anyway, sorry, I'm a little rambly. Expensive day. Like, also, I may have some cool stuff on the way as well that I'm waiting to hear back on. Lots of stuff still coming down the pipeline. I got a couple other reviews to shoot tonight as well, so we'll see how it goes. I do have the Japanese Spider-Man Marvel Legends coming in from Hasbro Pulse. I don't know if I'm going to review that or not. Anyway, on to Probus. Here he is in his tank mode. He's got the little wheels under here. He rolls. He's got big guns on the back that can... This doesn't feel like it... I can't remember how secure the original version was. You really kind of have to hold this in place if you want to pivot the guns. They're separate pieces. They do plug into this, but they plug in very tightly. You can hear it pop out of there. And if you want to angle them up any more or less than they already are, you either have to pop the piece up or make sure to hold it in place when you're moving them, because it doesn't take a whole lot of effort to pop that whole assembly off. Although now that I've said that, it kind of stuck on there pretty well. But just really push it down. Yeah, okay, not so bad. He's got his little gun up here that can rotate, little handles in case a person were actually in there. Little hatches that flip up. They both flip up. This one, the gun's kind of in the way here, but they don't go very deep. They're just kind of surface level hatches, but they do open. There's these little antenna that I don't know if I'm going to keep on there, just because he's fun enough that I have been carrying him around, and while these are flexible, I'm worried that these are going to stress or bend or break, or just fall off and get lost if I carry him around too much. The cannon barrel can be shortened or extended. I kind of like the short barrel version, maybe like just slightly extended, because I feel like that's maybe just a smidge too long, but at the same time, I feel like this turret sits a little further forward than it should. I'd like it to be just a smidge back for a real tank, but minor complaints because he's a really fun toy. Here he is with the original G2, I almost said G1 version, the original G2 version. It's old, it's messed up, it's not in perfect condition, but I love original G2 Brawl. So there's the two of them together. Now he doesn't have any of his, he had a foot, I don't even think it was an original foot, it was a blue foot that came from something else. But doesn't have any weapons, he's basically unadorned. And you can do that with Probus here. This gun just pegs in, that becomes his handgun in robot mode. This, like I said, this panel comes off. It does leave you, I wish there were a way to fill the space in back here without having to use this whole assembly. But you can't take that off, and it doesn't look too bad. It looks like a transformer, but it does open up it does reveal some of the hinges for the feet, I guess, the ankles. And these are just inserted in. You can pop those out, in and out however you wish. Let's go ahead and pop those out just for the sake of completely unadorned. Here are the two tanks together. I'll go ahead and leave those in because you don't need to remove those for transformation, unlike everything else. I guess technically you could transform it with this gun attached, but you're going to want to leave it out anyway. So I don't think I'm going to do the leg mode, but if you do the leg mode, you can take this, fold these guns down like this, and this will peg into the back behind the leg to store. Just FYI. Actually, why don't we do the leg mode? Why not? You got to fold these panels down if I can get to them. Well, first, pop the turret up. Get that out of the way. These lift up. this. These are little hinges, and you can kind of pull the foot out like that, and then these flip up to fill that space. These panels fold in. I could have done that first. That would have been made a lot easier, but I didn't. So you know what? Do it rockapella. These panels right here should flip. I can get my fingers in there. Well, undo the heels. These pieces come down. You can see that they're attached like this, and you want to bring them down on this double hinge here so that this tabs into this slot right up here. So to secure the heel in place. It's a little easier to do this one at a time, and if they come undone, just go ahead and do it that way. And then bring this down, latch it in place, but see now, it was sitting here and now it's in this notch. And we'll do the same on this side. I'll push that up. Let's bring that down and around, and then make sure the foot all tabs back together to form one solid foot here. And you can see there's some hinges there for ankle tilt in the combined mode. Bring this down like this. Just get this out of the way here. You go ahead and close that, collapse the barrel. This panel right here flips up. Fold this piece up like that. And then, like I said, I'm trying to get into here. I can see them starting to move, but I just can't get the leverage. You can split the legs a little bit if you need a little bit more leverage to get these panels out. There we go. Those fold down and around and kind of cover that hidden, not hidden, the exposed hinge down here like that. That's where we're going to peg the guns into, but we'll do that momentarily. These pieces right here can come out from, unpeg them from their tank mode position. It's part of the way we transform them into robot mode anyway, so we'll go ahead and do that. Bring them out to the side here. Lift this panel up. These entire hinge assembly, not just here, not just here, this hinge up front, you want to pull this whole assembly and flip it forward. I'll flip this down and forward like this. Then flip this whole assembly all the way over and around like that. And same on this side. It does snap into place, so when you're going back, make sure to click it all the way down in. And rotate it so the tread faces like this. So, wrong way. Same over here. And all these things that tab in one way, there's now a tab here that's going to tab into this slot. There's this little tab right here will go right here. Everything will tab into place. You want to bring this down because there's also tabs on the side of the black piece right here that are going to tab into these little tab holes in the front part of the tread. So bring that down and kind of straighten it up. Bring this down, fold that around a little bit like that. And make sure this comes down and around enough that this little black tab here goes in there. You should be able to snap everything into place and get it nice and secure there. There we go. Just like that. There's the heel foot came apart again. Then you can leave the turret down here. The instructions also have it sitting way up here. That just seems a little high to me. But you can bring it down like this. As well. And then this is the connector port to connect it to the main body. And like I said, with this piece right here, these two little tabs, now that these are flipped down, there's two little peg holes right here, so you can take this piece and store it right in there. You got to get it lined up just right. It's not in there all the way, is it? I feel like it should not be. It feels a little looser than it should be if it's tabbed all the way in. But you can store that. There we go. Store that right there, lock that right in there onto the back of the leg. Like I said, there's ankle tilt for the combiner. The new set, I think, includes the extra bonus pieces for the foot piece. It's not a separate set like it was for the original set. But there's the leg mode. And again, just for funsies, let's go ahead and lift this up and turn G2 version into the leg mode as well. They're friends. Go ahead and get this guy ready to go. Because from here we can continue on. We'll take this piece like this. We'll just untab it from here. And then I think it goes in like this. Rotate these guns around to the front like that. Just for the time being, and then we'll set this piece off to the side. I do wish, With this, the way this piece compacts, I wish this could kind of peg in as a jetpack in the back of robot mode. It doesn't. It does plug in robot mode as an accessory, but it just feels a little bit more compact if you could plug that in somewhere securely on the back. But anyway, from here, we've kind of half transformed into robot mode at this point. So we can go ahead right here and just go ahead and split these legs. And then there's a button right here you can push to extend them down. Just unlock that. It's more important, you can see right there it was already kind of halfway pushed in. You might have been able to just pull them down, but it doesn't hurt to push it, because here you can see the buttons have popped fully out and they're locked into place. You cannot collapse the legs unless you push that button in fully. So make sure when you're transforming him that you're not trying to force them without pushing this button down. The feet collapse back up just like they were before. You got to fold these panels back up onto the back of the leg to let them push all the way up, and then you can just fold that panel back down. And again, just open that panel up, push the foot back up into the leg, and flip that down. Now you can hear there's a little purple heel piece here. You can leave his feet like that and give him some big, chunky green shoes. If you want to be a little bit more compact, you can fold this down, and then you can see there's a little tab here on this purple piece. You can fold that down like that and push it. It slides a little bit. Push it in like that to lock it in place. And give him smaller heels for robot mode. It also, this green comes up and kind of fills in this empty space. I think visually it looks a little better to do it like this, but there is absolutely nothing stopping you from just giving him big old chunky green boots. We'll go ahead and unpeg the arms from up here again. Put this up just a smidge. Get all those tabs loose. Make sure this is just kind of hanging on the background. We'll go ahead and rotate his waist around. Oh wait, unlock these pegs. These panels right here tab into place to lock that waist in tank and leg mode. But unpeg those, turn the waist around, lift this back up, and we're going to bring the arms, the shoulder assemblies back up, and again, make sure they snap into place up there. Because if they don't snap all the way down, you're going to have trouble getting this piece to fold down properly. We'll bring those out to the side. This whole piece rotates from right here around and in. I don't know why it's giving me trouble. There we go. Rotate that. Oh yeah, I bring this up like this and fold it up like that, and then rotate that whole assembly around and in. And it should just go right in. There we go. Around into the body like that. You want to kind of tilt it up a little bit further than that so you can get his head through that opening and then bring it back down. These panels come back up. These, all right, let's get this up here a little bit. Flip these up, rotate them out to the side, flip them forward. These come folded around like this in the package, but you can flip those forward. There's two little tabs here that kind of rest in these places, but they don't clip into place. They just kind of, that's where they're supposed to go, but they don't latch. Like that. You can see now his head's exposed. The arms can kind of collapse up onto the shoulders like that. Right now, for the time being, I'm just going to rotate this around and snap it in right here, but you've got a couple different options on, just like that, on how you want to display the turret, and we'll get to that in a minute. Some of that involves some of the extra pieces. For the arms, bring this whole assembly, bring this, come on now, oh, push this out a little bit, and then bring that down and around. This whole assembly will then bring this down around like that. Then this green kind of cover will come up like this and cover that arm. Fold this purple piece up into here, rotate the fist, and then bring this tread piece down and around like that, and then push this black piece. We already kind of did it as part of the transformation. It just kind of naturally slides forward, but slide that forward to the middle of the arm. Bring that down, open up his fingers and flip out the thumb. It's got the same individual fingers. They're all static curved, but you can move them in separately. Thumb on a ball joint. Bring that panel down like that, and then it's the same thing on this side. Push this out, rotate it around. Do it a slightly separate way. Well, no, let's go ahead and do it the right way. Like that. Bring this arm down And push it forward. Flip this panel cover up. Hand around, open it up. This thumb likes to pop off. We'll see if we can do it without popping it off this time. There we go. We did it. All right. But there is Brawl in robot mode, or PROBUS REGENESIS. PROBUS REGENESIS. I got it right. I did it. And again, completely unadorned without any extra weapons. So here he is with his original G2 counterpart. Much larger, much more posable. Still green and purple tank. These little hooks right here can rotate. You can flip those up, flip those down. I'm not entirely sure what the purpose of that was, but it's there. Like I said, the turret. You can have it like this. You can rotate it around so it points up behind the robot head, which is, I think, mostly accurate to how he was often depicted. Personally, I like to fold this down on in the lower position so it just kind of sits behind his back. The turret kind of hangs back there, and there's not a lot of extraneous stuff going up around in his silhouette. However, you can also bring this turret up. I feel like there's a way to make this happen. Oh, right. You can push this button right here to pop the turret up off of its support beam. You can see that now this green piece extends, and that gives you the ability to bring this up, to rotate it around. If I can get it, here we go, and bring it up. And plug it in onto the back in a higher position right here. And you can see that's kind of sitting up behind his head there. And the reason for that is you can see there's a port, there's a cutout here in the back of that turret. And that's where this piece comes in. Because you can see there's a tab in there that matches this slot. So you can take this piece, plug it in behind, there's a way to do this, plug it in behind his head. I feel like there was a different way of getting that in there, but that's the only way that piece comes together, so. Oh, right. No, take it back. Flip this piece up, and then you can fit this whole piece in, plug it in, it tabs in securely, and you can give them some big over-the-shoulder back cannons. I guess really they're more over the head. They're not even, technically they are over his shoulders too, but you could even, if you wanted to lower it down a little bit, you can, now with this piece, you could lower it. Get it to a position, it's going to stick further out the back, and it's not as secure. But if you want to lower those down so they're sitting more over his shoulders, you can do that. Like I said, for the most part, I just collapse this, rotate this around this way, fold it up this way to collapse in the lower position, and even push this in to collapse it flatter against his back, and leave him like that. That's how I tend to display him. Articulation-wise, he's got a ball joint at the neck. He's got hinges up here in the top of his shoulders, swivels front and back. He's also got a hinge right here at the body. And you mostly want to use that one because this one, when at the upper hinge, if you put his arms straight out like that, they're actually pretty secure. Like, my one complaint about looseness on this guy is they do get a little loose the lower you get them. In this range, they're not as secure. You can see once you get to about this point and let go, they just start to droop. This one, especially with the gun in his hand, the weight of it just pulls it right down. It's fine because unless you want to have him doing some weird spinny little loopy-doo there, you can still rotate the shoulders out like this. So if you want him to have a more dynamic pose, you can still get those shoulders out from the body without using that upper hinge joint. Go ahead and put his gun in his hand. We'll flip that piece up so there's a tab there. Careful of the thumb. And just plug that into a slot there, wrap his fingers around it. He can hold his pistol / small rifle. It's not full-on rifle size. It's a little larger for a pistol. His laser gun, we'll call it that. We got those. You got a bicep swivel. You got a dual hinge elbow, although the tread keeps it from coming up too far. You do have a wrist swivel, all those articulated fingers we mentioned earlier. You got a waist swivel. You got a dual hinge ratcheting hip there, and a thigh swivel, and these panels on both the front and back will get out of the way when posing the legs. You got a dual hinge knee, which again only goes to about 90 degrees because of the bulk. You might be able to get a little bit further out of there, but not much with that green piece in there. And then you got some toe articulation. It uses the same ankle tilt that the foot uses for the combined mode, and you can mess around with the heel a little bit too. So pretty posable, very secure when standing, and a lot of fun. Like I said, I can't combine them obviously because I don't have any other figures currently, but he's tempted me enough that I may end up having to get the rest of the REGENESIS versions of these guys. Just because, why not? And also, I think the color scheme's a little bit more dynamic than a little bit. That's an understatement if you've seen any G2 figure, and especially G2 Bruticus. He's not the most ridiculously wild colored of what we could have gotten in G2. Some of the unreleased ones were a little wild too, but yeah. But there is PROBUS REGENESIS from Ocular Max. Super happy to have him. He's a big, solid tank. He's chunky. He's beefy, and he's a lot of fun to play with. And he's not really all that difficult to transform. Like I said, it goes a lot faster when you're not behind the camera. But yeah, not intuitive, not a pain in the butt, and it's a fun tank and a fun robot.